Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Kangaroothless, and I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. This is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss on the map Shattered Temple, and this will be part 2 in the series of how to play PvZ, or ZVP might I say. And the guy who's showing us how to play PvZ, his name is Decaf. He is from Austria. He is a High Master Zerg. I believe he's in the top 25 if not top 10 of the Masters League, so he plays a lot of really good players. And whoops, I did not mean to do that. There we go, music is back online. And let me go ahead and introduce his opponent for this game. Well, his name is ZergBong. He'll be playing as the red Protoss. Now this could potentially be a ladder game since they are spawning as blue and red, but not really sure. This was included in the replay pack of Decaf's thread, which I believe is called Guide ZVP Roach, Ling, Muta. And I really like this strategy. I really like this sort of build idea because of several reasons. Number one, with Zerg versus Protoss in general, you tend to be very prone to a lot of timing attacks from Protoss, whether it's 1 or 2 base all-ins, or, you know, even if the Protoss doesn't go for any sort of strong timing attack, some sort of strong all-in, you're still susceptible to a 3-base Protoss, which gets to be quite irritating and really difficult to deal with, if not impossible. So I think Roach, Ling, Muta kind of deals with all those things. With Roach, Ling, Muta, you're safe against those 1-base timing attacks, especially with what we have here at 12 pool. You're not going to have to worry about any sort of 2-gate or 4-gate aggression. Even proxy 2-gates in this situation is very valedictory towards the Protoss to do once you've gone 12 spawning pool. But as well, you're safe against those 1-base aggressions. Against 2-base aggressions, as we're going to see in this game, you'll still, this build still works, basically. And so what we have here is from Protoss is a very standard opener from all Protosses and Protoss versus Zerg. Looks like Protoss will go for a Forge Fast Expand. This probe is going to run over here to the natural expansion of Zerg and try to deny that. But yeah, there we go with the probe. Just now, just wants to block that expansion, we'll go ahead and set down a pylon. Meanwhile, 2 cannons are being thrown down for Protoss, but I think this is actually going to block the expansion. So this is going to set ZergBong back a couple of minutes. Well, not a couple of minutes, but quite some time, just because he put that cannon in the wrong place. This pylon will get cancelled. Another one will take its place, and basically what ZergBong wants to do here is just delay this hatchery for as long as possible. Hatchery finally does go down, and 4 Lings are going to go scout around the map. And yeah, ZergBong did not mean to put that there, so his Nexus timing is going to be off. He's going to have to throw down another cannon to make sure that he's safe against any sort of all-in. Yeah, and once his cannon is actually down, he should be able to, yes, throw down a Nexus. There he goes. So a little bit of a hiccup there from ZergBong. But I want to go ahead and really focus on this replay. Really how this build even works against 2-base timings. And this is a game that shows how 2-base timings work in Zerg versus Protoss at high levels. I want you guys to really pay attention here to timings. I'll try and point them out as well as I can. Timings as well as upgrade timings. And, just pay attention to these things. I think they line up very well with when we expect our Protoss counterparts to do these 1 or 2-base all-ins. Now that Zerg has seen, now that Decaf has seen that he has actually gone for a Forge Fast Expand, I mean, Zerg can safely drone up from this point. It's just here, no Zerglings being morphed in. You pretty much just have Queens and drones being made non-stop. So once this hatchery gets made, you can go ahead and expect both of them to be vomited upon with larvae. Looks like a little drone transfer will occur here. And meanwhile, I want you guys to also pay attention to this. Look where these Zerglings are positioned, and notice that they're on hold position. This means that even if a pro tries to come in here and bait them away, the Zerglings will not run into those cannons, which Zerglings love to do when they're not on hold position. The Zealot will be able to chase away the rest of these Zerglings, who will be just fine just to come hang out here, make sure there's no hidden tech over this way. This Overlord can still hang out over here by the ramp because there are no anti-air units. Stalker is getting chrono boosted, but I really like this from Decaf, just keeping his Overlord here. It would have been smart for him, I guess, to move that Overlord to a smarter, safer position. He does have 2 Overlords ready to scout Protoss's base. This Overlord will go down, however, but just keep in mind that Decaf still has this Overlord at the very least. Now, pay attention with this. With Roach, Ling, Muta, you can actually afford to go for a 3rd base as long as you can get up your Mutalist fast enough, or you can have enough of an army early on enough to prevent Protoss from trying to, you know, attack over here. And even if Protoss does attack over here, with Roach, Ling, and Muta, you can actually counterattack. And it's a very short distance for these Mutas to fly, just to go and start harassing the drone line, or the worker line of Protoss. And so we see here from Zerg, about 40-ish supply is going for this Evolution Chamber and Roach Warren. We do have 2 Gas Geysers, and finally a 3rd, as well as a Spine Crawler. This will help fend off any sort of pokes or prods that Protoss will like to do about this point in time. Send in maybe a Zealot and a Stalker, but the Spine should be more than enough to deal with that. So really all that decaf have to worry about at this point is just droning up. This is a nice thing to have, and notice that's a really late metabolic boost. He's spending so much of his income right now on upgrades, and not so much on that upgrade. He got that melee attack up pretty fast considering he's taken 3 bases. So the Zerglings will pop out here. They are going to try and take this Stalker off guard. They might get us around. No, they do not. The Stalker will be chased away. I'm not sure what ZergBong is doing here, trying to micro against Zerglings. You just need to run back to your base. Stalkers and slow Zerglings have the same movement speed, so if you're ever the Protoss and you get caught out in the middle of the map with slow Lings running at you, just run back to base as fast as you can. But meanwhile, we do see a Dark Shrine going down actually for ZergBong. The Overlord has come in to scout. He does see that there are 5 gateways as well as a Dark Shrine going down. But if we go back here, it looks like ZergBong will cancel that, will not go for a Dark Templar attack. And just look how many workers that Zerg has right now. Look how much he's been able to macro up. Decaf is at 60 harvesters right now. That is insane. He's also working on Glio Reconstitution for his roaches, making a couple of roaches as well. Throwing down 2 spines. This queen will likely throw down a creep tumor just to give that extra movement speed boost that Zergs so love. And now that this layer is finished, these Overlords can start pooping creep to connect these 2 bases. And I really think these upgrades, it could be a little bit better on the time, but so far, I mean, it's really nice. ZergBong, notice he's at 62 supply, Decaf is at 100. A lot of that is in drones, but notice Decaf has just been hitting his injects so well. You see how low the energy is on these queens. They never really get above 25, and that is a sign of a really strong Zerg player. So we're going to see here, +1 has been started for Protoss making use of that forge, and we do have 5 gateways. And I think Blink has been finished, so this is going to be a 2-base Blink timing attack. Now, since the nerf, Blink timing attacks have become a bit weaker, so I'm not sure if I agree with this so much, especially against a Zerg. I don't know. If a Zerg, if you think he's going to go Mutas or something like that, it might be nice just to use this sort of Blink Stalker build to contain the Zerg, maybe deny bases, harass while you take your 3rd. But ZergBong, as you can see here, he's just committing so much. He's not even going to try and take a 3rd base at this point. All he is doing right now is just poking in and out, trying to whittle down Zerg's forces. But Decaf just has so much right now. He has 61 drones. He's still hitting his injects. He has these 2 spine crawlers here. So ZergBong cannot attack into this the defense of Decaf. He's very safe. And so really Protoss would be very smart right here just to go bust down some rocks somewhere and try and take a 3rd base. Instead of trying to beat a dead horse, you're not going to break Zerg's defenses. They're just too good at this point. Zerg will take down these destructible rocks at the gold, and Protoss looks like he wanted to move in, but I mean that's just so many roaches. And look at the supply again. It's 96 to 150. Pretty much in this position, Protoss is getting out macroed. And that's because ZergBong knew exactly what he had to do to get his drone potential up, to get his larva potential up so much that he could just outproduce his opponent. So if you allow Zerg to get to 61 drones and you are Protoss, you are in trouble. You cannot allow Zerg to get this many drones so early in the game. You have to do some sort of timing pushes, maybe some little pokes, and force Zerg to make more units than he wants to earlier on. Now that Zerg is sitting on a very comfortable econ, I mean, it's just going to be really hard to break Zerg as long as he hits his injects and is smart with his engagements. Notice he's never fully committing. He's just slowly whittling away at Protoss's forces, and Protoss can rebuild these forces as much as he wants, but these Stalkers, they will run out eventually. Now, this right here, I think, is a huge blunder from Protoss. A big reason why he loses this game is that he goes for this gold base. This is not important. Whether or not this base goes up is irrelevant. What is more relevant is how many drones does Zerg have at this point. I mean, once you allow Zerg to get to this many drones, you need to start shutting down expansions that are already mining. You need to start killing drones. You need to start making Zerg be everywhere at once, but it's kind of too late to really hurt the economy of Zerg. He just has so many units. The army supply is just much larger. We have 38 Roaches to 21 Stalkers. Now keep in mind the upgrades here. Zerglings have +1. The Roaches have +1 as well. Look at the production tab. +2 attack on these Roaches. Because at this point you can just spam Roaches all day. And when you're not busy spamming Roaches, you can make Mutalisks. Now notice that there are no upgrades on these Mutalisks. And that is because there's no Stargate tech. There's really no need to harass because this is pretty much an all-in. I mean, Protoss, I think it's just overcommitting to this push, and it's just not going to work. There's just got to be times that, you know, you go for a certain build and you say, you know what, this is not going to work. I should transition into something else. And that is what I think that Protoss did not do in this game at all. And for this reason, I mean, Zerg is pretty much maxed out versus, I mean, he almost has double supply of Protoss, who's pretty much stuck with 2 Immortals. He's actually got to kill this Warp Gate because it's in the way. He's working on that +2, but I mean, it's just too little too late. There could be Colossi out. There's no sentries. Sentries would really help right here, but I mean, Protoss is so committed to this all-in, he's just not able to afford it. So warping in with every last ounce of strength he can get. ZergBong will blink up here, nice blink, and pick off a couple of Mutas. But I mean, at this point, Protoss should have gotten his base like 5 minutes ago at the very least. So now, I mean, even with the blink, he's going to leave these Stalkers, or not these Stalkers, but these Immortals exposed to these Zerglings, which are at +1 upgrades. The +2 is about to finish for these Roaches, and when that does happen, these Roaches are going to tear through these Stalkers so fast. Just look how fast these Stalkers are dying and now preventing any sort of high ground shenanigans because of these Mutalisks being nicely positioned. Let's look at the control groups here. The Mutas are in control group 1, the Roaches and Lings are in control group 2. This allows the Mutalisks to be much more versatile and not only serving as attacking units and units that just harass probe lines and what have you, but also they provide sight to high ground, so Protoss can't just blink up there and pick away at Roaches for free. And I mean, let's just look at the supplies here again. It's 173 to 71. Protoss is about run out and his main, and that's going to be it for the good game. I mean, just look at all these units that decaf has made. That 2 base timing did not work. It wasn't the best executed, but I want to call attention to these spine crawlers. Very important in holding off that push as well. We had the +1 melee attack finish for those Zerglings at just the right time, just to kick in when a Protoss would make that sort of 7-gate timing push, which is what he did, and it failed. So anyways, that will do it for part 2 of the series on how to play Zerg versus Protoss. Again, I've been your host, as always, Kangaroothless. Be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, and check out the thread, which I will link below, which is called Guide Zerg versus ZVP Roach Ling Muta by decaf. And well, that'll do it for this task, guys. I will go ahead and cast the next game, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.